Hey, this is Charles Calhoun, aka the Shadetree Pro, and I've been studying the grip here quite a bit lately. Maybe because I just a lot of things about the grip that I don't know, it I don't know, it just didn't really make sense to me yet. But I know you can use an interlocking, you can use an overlapping, you can use baseball, you can use whatever. But my thing is, it's about the grip pressures. Now, if you take a look at my fingers, you can see that I have the joints right at the very tips of my fingers pretty much marked up with some ink. And I'm doing that so you can see exactly what I'm trying to demonstrate here. See, when we take a golf grip, usually what happens, and let me grab a club here. Usually what happens, we put our fingers over here, we try to wrap this down here and wrap this finger around here and you do all that and you get your grip, yeah. But let's get into a real anatomy of the grip in itself. If you take a look here, and I'm going to try to make this simple. I'm not going to go into the terminology of what these bones and all this is called. I'm just going to use simplicity. And I'm talking about just matching things up. If you take a look at the thumb in itself, and the thumb is 50% of the strength in your hand. The thumb has two joints there. There's one here and one there, and it bends there. The fingers has 1, 2, and 3. Now what most people do, because this joint in the finger is more closer to the middle joint, when people go to grip something, especially a golf club, they bend these, which they do bend, but they don't use the pressures of this top joint here. A lot of people, when they try to bend their fingers, and we see many people try to do that, and it's usually hard to do. But what we have to do, we have to match up the bends in the hand. Since I've only got 2 in the thumb, and the thumb bends there, then I have to match it up with the tops, just the same as here. So a little exercise I do is kind of like something that I learned studying martial arts, learning how to bend my fingers right here at the tips. And why that's important, because when you bend, let me grab this, when you bend those fingers, and you can see how I have the mark still there. When you take your grip, regardless of what grip you use, when you bend those fingers, and make sure that you're bending them no matter if you got it interlocked here or not, you're bending those tips at that joint. That makes sure that the tips of the fingers wrap around, and it makes sure that the entire hand, fingers, and all is wrapped around the golf club on the grip, and every bit of your hand is in contact and they're working together. And like I said, if you don't understand it, give it a try. Sit there, maybe even mark your hand like I did there. Do you about 50 exercises, squeezing it just like this, squeezing the tips in. Squeezing the tips, matching it up with the thumb. Keep squeezing them. Do you about 50 of them. And then I want you to do is then take your grip, and you may begin to realize the importance of how those tips of the fingers will allow you to make a better grip. And I promise you, without a good grip, and as I said, without a good grip, and you have to have a good grip regardless of what its importance of how it ranks in the golf swing itself, you still must have a good grip. And once you learn how to bend, and I'll say it again, once you learn how to bend these tips and matching them up with the thumb, I'm telling you right now, you're going to be on your way to playing some better golf. And at the least, you will not have to be concerned about where your grip pressures and how to put your pressures on the golf club. Because once you have your hands completely wrapped around it like it's supposed to, and bending in the function in itself the way it should, you'll start understanding why there's so many different grips, why there's so many different grip pressures, and so forth. Once again, this is Charles Calhoun, aka the Shadetree Pro, and always good golfing.